Let me tell you why these 1 crore plus jobs that you see in the newspapers. And then I was supposed to join Samsung, but COVID hit 2020 and it got delayed by 6 months. We designed a brain-controlled robot sort of, because when I was applying, Tik-Tok Singapore was, so for the technical rounds, they all had the same format basically.
Hey everyone, welcome back to eLearning Bridge. I hope you guys are doing good and staying safe. So I am back with another amazing and really interesting podcast, and this podcast is gonna be different and interesting. Why? Because I will be having a discussion with machine learning engineer who is working in Tik-Tok Singapore, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows about the Tik-Tok, the most viral social media app nowadays, and definitely they are working on big data use cases extensively, be it machine learning, be it artificial intelligence, data science, data engineering, analysts. In every aspect of the big data, they are leveraging it and working on the amazing use cases. And that is why I have invited this talented machine learning engineer from Tik-Tok, and his name is Anurag, and he will share his super important experience related to machine learning engineers, how to get the job outside India for the machine learning engineer role, the salary aspect, different components of it, how to kickstart your journey in machine learning engineering, what kind of projects he actually built, created, all those kind of wonderful information, and most important, the complete interview experience of Tik-Tok for the machine learning engineer role. So that is why lots of amazing things to learn from this podcast. Make sure you watch it till the very end. And since I have started covering podcasts related to machine learning engineering, and if you want such kind of more podcasts, so make sure to like this video in big numbers so that I can bring more machine learning engineers. And guys, I have one really amazing announcement to make for all the aspiring data analysts who are coming from the non-tech, non-CS and these kind of backgrounds, and actually want to work as a data analyst in top tech companies, and you are not able to find a right path, right track, and you are facing challenges to get a job, then Coding Invaders by MentorPro can actually help you. So they are actually running a 6 to 8 months long data analyst program, that too job guaranteed. Yes, you heard it right. And honestly speaking, this is the very authentic platform, because as you know, without any research, I don't recommend any platform or anything to the audience. And I had a conversation with their founders, so I got to know about their visions to help the data analysts to land into their dream jobs. And also few months back, some aspiring data analysts reached out to me to look for these kind of courses and program, and I recommended it to them, and now they are working in good product based companies, and you can also do the same. And for my audience exclusively, I have provided one link in the description. You can use that one, and in the consultation you can use the coupon code Shashank30 and you will be getting 30% extra discount. So first thing is the job guarantee. You will be learning everything from the scratch, no prerequisite required, one-to-one mentorship. So this course is definitely for you if you do not have any coding background or any tech kind of experience. You want to switch your career from sales, finance, marketing, teacher, or any kind of non-tech, non-CS profile. This program will be taught by the experts who are working in top tech companies. So these are the important things which will be covered in this data analyst program of 5-6 months long, like working with Google Sheets or Excel, SQL, statistics, Power BI, Python, 30 plus real world projects and real world business use cases, 1500 plus access assignments. So what are you waiting for? If you are also coming from the non-tech, non-CS background and want to move into data analyst profile, so use this program, and don't forget to check out the link given in the description. Alright, so thank you so much Anurag for joining me on my podcast, and I'm really excited for this one, because so far I haven't covered much podcast related to ML engineering, but this time it is very special because one of the most popular companies in terms of the social media, the Tik-Tok. And it would be really great if you can give a short introduction to the audience who is watching you for the very first time, anything about your academic and professional background.
My name is Anurag, as you know, and I did my undergrad from 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 Kolkata in electronics and telecommunication engineering. And so during my undergrads, I interned at Samsung R&D Bangalore in the imaging team, but that was not related to machine learning in any way. So I just built some data pipelines in the kernel, and then I was supposed to join Samsung after my undergrads, because I got a PPO, and which is like a pre-placement offer, but COVID hit in 2020 and it got delayed by 6 months. So in the meantime, I started applying to other places, and Tik-Tok was one of them, and I got my job as machine learning engineer in Tik-Tok. Yeah.
Okay.
So and that's what I do. So at Tik-Tok, I work in the video recommendation team.
Pretty cool, pretty amazing. Like hit by COVID and now working at Singapore for the TikTok as an ML engineer. So pretty amazing and lots of interesting conversation we will be having. And this one is super important for all aspiring ML engineer. You will learn a lot from Anurag experience. So moving on to next question, Anurag. Like being from NoN-CS stream, right? So when and how did you figure out your interest for big data, data science, machine learning engineering, and how did you approach towards this field?
I first was introduced to machine learning when I started interning at 𝗖cie Kolkata. So which is like the Indian Statistical Institute in Kolkata. So under a professor, and so there I just started working on some very basic like clustering algorithms like k-means and the sort. And then I like it was like some very basic introductory project, like just to like coding it from scratch and stuff. Then as part of that internship, I again also was introduced to deep neural networks, and from then on I was pretty much hooked. So I also like this was in my second year, the internship, and I continued working there throughout the entire duration of my undergrads, like as a research intern at 𝗖cie, and I also joined my department's AI lab because like you're supposed to do an undergraduate thesis as part of the course curriculum. So what a lot of people do is they try to get a head start on that, like in the second year or the end of the second year, because the thesis is meant for the fourth and final year. So people that are into research, they sort of start in the second year, and so I was also one of them because I was very interested in the field, and most of the work that I did in both the AI lab and at 𝗖cie was focused on computer vision. At 𝗖cie, what helped was I was able to, so as part of the project, I implemented the backpropagation algorithms and the different algorithms from scratch. So that really helped cement my understanding of the basic fundamentals of how deep neural networks work.
Okay.
And then from then on, I graduated into things like image segmentation, object detection.
Okay.
As I worked on evolutionary algorithms. So as you know, you can sort of fool these machines with small pixel changes and stuff, so that like the machine basically misclassifies images. So these are called adversarial attacks on neural network. And on the other hand, in my AI lab, so as part of my undergraduate thesis, what I worked on was object detection. So basically we designed a brain controlled robot, sort of, because you can get EEG signals from the brain, and you can, they're pretty distinctive in terms of motor control and also response to a question, or like when you identify something in a screen that's blinking, it's called a P300 response. So we combined some of those things in a deep neural network, and also used a modified version of a object detection algorithm together with a grasp detection algorithm, because the robot arm would need to grasp objects in a cluttered environment.
Okay.
So basically very much in the weeds of computer vision, like mostly like, the faster RCNN, mask RCNN type networks.
Okay.
And those are the things I worked on mostly. This is like the most of my background in and experience in machine learning and computer vision.
Great.
Yeah, before I joined TikTok.
Yeah. That's super amazing, and the intense work you have done so far, Anurag, that's pretty amazing, right? I think that would be a good points for the audience to note it down, that what all things they can explore in these aspects. So thank you so much for that. Anurag, next question I have for you that is related to your current company. So now you're working in TikTok as ML engineer, and that too in Singapore. So the question is, and I think that is an open question for everyone, like how to even find out job opportunities outside India. So how did you get these job opportunities outside India for especially the ML engineering?
Okay, so let me just tell you how I got it, and it was complete blind luck. So no skill involved at all. So basically I was applying on Glassdoor, LinkedIn, like basically applying like anywhere they said that they had an ML role available. So I was like, I wanted to work in ML, so I was applying all across the board in multiple companies. TikTok was a company that I was very I didn't even remember that I applied to TikTok when I got shortlisted for the interview. So I was like, when did I apply for this? So in terms of, if you ask me what I think contributed to my CV being shortlisted as a viable candidate for the role that I'm in, so I would say in terms of my CV, so my experience at Samsung, which, as a company, it has a brand name recognition in all over the world, so that sort of helped my CV stand out. My experience in computer vision and core CV research, that also helped. The final thing, I think this is the most crucial, is the timing sort of worked out, because when I was applying, TikTok Singapore was expanding their team and looking for candidates, and also they had hired, so once I joined, I found out I had some of my colleagues that also joined TikTok from Samsung R&D Bangalore, but they were already working there, so they were seniors to me and they were working there. And so so that's basically it. I would say these are the things that contributed to the basically me getting shortlisted for the interviews.
And since you are working on one of the top company which is leveraging the ML part very extensively, so can you share that full interview experience of TikTok, especially for the ML engineer role? Most specifically, how many rounds you can expect, and in each round, what kind of things interviewers can look from you?
Yeah, so I can only speak to what my interview experience was for the machine learning engineering position that I'm in. So as you know, the exact format might vary from depending on the specificity of the role or the skill set required. So for me, so after my CV was shortlisted, I was scheduled to have 2 technical rounds, folks working at TikTok, and 1 technical round with a tech lead, and then a behavioral round where you it's basically the HR round. So where you discuss if you're the right fit, and if the culture would be a good fit for you and stuff like that. And so for the technical rounds, they all had the same format basically. So the 3 parts. So the first one, they asked me questions from my CV. So the projects I worked on, so basically checking if I really did the projects that I said I worked on. So trying to see if I can explain nuanced details or challenges I faced and stuff like that. Then the bulk of the questions were from machine learning theory and different use cases, what happens if A fails, what happens if B occurs in your data set, and stuff like that. So specific use cases, scenarios where you might need to debug something in a real world scenario, stuff like that. And then for the final the coding part, so I was asked 1 question in each of the technical rounds. So it was a DS algo question, so standard basically lead code mediums, I would say. So so that was my experience for ML engineering position that I'm currently in. So depending on the skill set and the role, it might vary slightly. You might get extra coding rounds in the beginning. Maybe if they have a large candidate pool applying, so maybe they'll have another more coding rounds to basically shortlist candidates even more. But so basically so the structure is basically the same. So you get asked questions from machine learning theory basics, different use cases, and then you get asked questions from your CV and maybe 1 or 2 DS algo questions.
Cool. I think this is wonderful, and this is the exact thing I was looking for, where people can get a good understanding that how ML engineering interviews actually work, and that in very, very good companies. So thanks for answering that. And from the audience side, I'm expecting 1 like for this detailed experience. So moving on to the next part, right? This is out of the tech stuff and all. So you have been working with TikTok. So what are some great perks of working at TikTok as an employee, as in work-life balance? What's your experience have been so far?
In terms of work-life balance, so I can balance, it's pretty good for me. So I've had a very pleasant experience in terms of the work-life balance. So there isn't any rigid rule that makes you, let's say, work certain amount of hours or something. So it's very flexible. Also, people are very respectful of your time. So, because we're a global multinational company, you have to collaborate with colleagues across time zones. So, but people are very respectful. And also, like, in terms of the workload, I would say, like, for each by month or something, like, when you start your projects in the beginning, you have the workload basically peaks. And then once you have built your model or developed whatever you're going to develop, and you're waiting for results, or you're running a training, running experiments, training models, whatever. So you get a lot of downtime. So you can really explore different projects that that you're interested in as well. So there's a lot of freedom that
cool. Yeah. And any interesting perks in terms of like other companies, let's say parties, the travel, or other things, whatever?
We definitely have team lunches and dinners like every month. Like, so as a team, we go out and have dinners, or let's say do some activity. In terms of perks, you get a lot of allowances and support, like in terms of whatever equipment you might need, or you get, like, there are too many. I don't even know I've explored all of them. I would say there are too many perks. And also there's, like, as you know, TikTok's culture is extremely diverse, and we celebrate like holidays and festivals for each culture. So, like, there's probably one celebration almost every couple of months or something, because the workforce is so diverse here.
Yeah. Cool, pretty amazing. And I think that would give a good experience to the audience as well to understand the culture of these kind of companies. So thanks for explaining that one as well. Now moving on to the very important questions, right? Since you have that sort of experience in ML engineering, so if somebody is, let's say, starting a complete noob or a complete beginner in the ML engineering, so what would be the few important things which you would like to mention that somebody can pick up in the beginning and start their ML engineering track? And anything in terms of the resources you feel that can help the audience, feel free to share that one as well.
This is the part that I struggled with the most when I was in a position. So let me first clearly define some of these terms, because these roles in AI currently are extremely ambiguous. And so not just from the perspective of people outside the field like hoping to get in, but also inside, it's extremely ambiguous, because different companies will use the same titles and same positions, and the job description will be completely different from one company to the next. So in terms of so let me first explain like what these roles entail. So usually as a machine learning engineer, what you're doing is there's a product that uses AI or machine learning. You are responsible for that product entirely. So not you specifically, but the team you're working in. If any new feature needs to be added, so the entire pipeline is basically monitored, improved, updated, iterated. Everything is done by machine learning engineers. Also going into data science, you will definitely find plenty of data scientists doing the job of machine learning engineers. I mean, this is like in some cases, data scientists are strictly doing business analytics, and for a product, they're generating insights and giving it to the ML team. And in some cases, they're doing it all. Moving on to like what I think is a good approach, let's say, to become a machine learning engineer. If you are rich, try to do an MS from USA, and then it's very easy to get a job as a machine learning engineer. So it doesn't have to be USA, and you can also do your masters from Europe, because in a lot of cases in Europe the masters cost a lot less, and maybe in some universities you also get your tuition fee waived off if you're doing a research based masters. So you have to do a thesis as well, and also so you get paid a stipend while you're doing the masters. That's route one. That's a very high odds route. The second is, let's say you don't want to do a masters, but you're from one of the premier institutions in India. So in that case, like I said, you have a lot of resources at your disposal. So basically you have professors, really good professors. You have a lot of alumni that are in good positions at companies, and they can refer you to these positions. And so you have a lot of opportunity, let's say. So you get more opportunities to be a machine learning engineer if you're from one of these premier institutions. But this is also like not a very good, I would say, strategy, because I mean most people that are listening to this have already decided what their college is, so they're already studying in some college, so they can't then can't change that now. So in my experience, so I'm in the latter category. So this is the category I'm in. So where you don't really belong to one of the premier institutions, or you're like doing a master's abroad is not a feasible option for you. So what I would say is start early. Start as early as you possibly can. So if you find yourself interested in this domain, so I would say the first thing you do is find a professor in your university or any other university in India. And it doesn't have to even be India, because right now remote internships are very popular. So try to build up, try to get a basic understanding, read some resources from the internet, and then try to first find, let's say, a professor in your university who is willing to supervise you on some basic projects. That's it. So find such a professor that is willing to supervise you. You can also reach out to other professors. If you have, let's say, a 5% chance of securing such a project opportunity, and you apply to hundreds of professors, you have 5 projects that you can do. So basically, if your chance of success is small, which it usually is when you're just starting out, so try to mitigate that by increasing the number of times you try, basically. So the main thing would be to find a professor. So cold mail professors. Okay, so mail professors in your university, in another university that you may know. Maybe try to use some of your contacts, because it's very useful. So maybe you know someone in another university that working in something related to AI. Mail them, ask them if they can supervise you on some projects, and talk to them about it. And let's say then you sort of build up some of this experience working on some of these projects, which are, I would like say, they can be very basic projects, let's say. So even something like I did in 𝗖cie, where I just started out like working on some clustering algorithms, like basic implementing clustering algorithms from scratch or something, or implementing a deep neural network from scratch or something. So something very basic that gets your foot into the door. So you're sort of accustomed to what the field is about, and people know that, okay, so you're just starting out, you have some basic understanding of the fundamentals. After that, every winter and summer, I would say you should apply to ML positions in academia and in industry. When I say industry, I mean startups that are willing to give you some industry experience, emphasizing working on research projects compared to, let's say, template ML projects that you get on the internet, right? So you get these ideas, and so it doesn't really give you an edge in terms of the competition, because everybody is doing it. So doing a research project, what basically shows the recruiters or like whoever you want to get the attention of, you are capable of going deep on a very specific domain, and you can solve and understand the nuanced challenges of that domain. And this is very crucial. The other thing is, if you're, let's say, you finally decide that you're going to apply for masters in, let's say, some of the top universities around the world, your research assistantship experience is going to be immensely helpful when it comes to selection of your application. Even after your college, you can do a research assistantship for 6 months, a year or something, and then you can also apply again to some of the companies that you want to work in, or you can also go for a master's. And going for a master's that way basically increases your chances of getting selected into the really good colleges and programs, especially in places where they give you a stipend for the master's. So it's a research-based master's. So on one hand, you have to produce a research thesis as part of your master's curriculum. So having a really good research experience helps a lot there, because it's very competitive. Because obviously, if you're getting paid to do a master's, a lot of people are applying to that. So because it's very competitive, doing a research assistantship, having a few papers gives you an edge over the other candidates that are applying. So I would say then do your master's, and then you get a job as a machine learning engineer or something after your master's. I think these are all the ways I know of of getting a machine learning engineer position somewhere. So yeah, there might be an easier one out there, but I haven't found one out yet.
I would say means too much of detail. Even if somebody will try to find what are the typical ways to start their career in ML engineering, probably this is not something which is written over the internet or any medium blog or something, right? You can get it from the practical experience, since you have been through different paths. So that is why your experience is something which will be really helpful. So you can figure out among these multiple options what could best work for you to kickstart your ML engineering journey. So thanks, Anurag, for sharing this one in too much of detail. That's pretty wonderful.
This is the part I struggled with the most, like when I was looking to enter the field, and so this is like the questions I faced, and so I think like this would be something that is useful to your viewers that are intrigued by AI and want to explore the field.
So on an average, right, sometimes we hear very, very big numbers in terms of these CTCs when it comes to abroad, like in CRs and all these things. How much salary machine learning engineers specifically are getting on average outside India? And it would be great if you can divide it in terms of the components as well. That will give a good highlight to the audience that how these different salary components work outside India and what could be the expectation.
Okay. So let me explain it very clearly. So your salary basically consists of three main components. There's your base, which is what you get paid every month minus some tax. Then there's your bonus. This could be a joining bonus, retention bonus, where a company is so glad that you haven't left them after 6 months or a year, they pay you. And then you have the stocks. Basically the company gives you stocks over a period of time. So let me tell you why these 1 crore plus jobs that you see in the newspapers, they are not all that they're hyped up to be. Well, first of all, the way that they calculate the total compensation is they add the base of the first year, the bonus that you would get over multiple years, and the stocks that you would get over, in most cases, a 4-year period, right? Yeah. So, and now it's like above 1 crore.
Correct.
And this is not even considering the fact that most of these countries, like the tax rate is gonna kill you. I mean, in US, in like California or something, I think it's close to 50%. I'm wrong, probably, but it's very high. They take a huge chunk out of your paycheck. So the cash that you get in hand, basically, is the base salary every month. And so basically, I would say in my experience, you can get up, like as a machine learning engineer, you can easily get upwards of 50 lakh INR in hand. So I can't exactly divulge the components and details of what I'm getting, but I would say in my experience, at least in Singapore, for machine learning engineer positions, you can get upwards of 50 lakh INR in hand.
Okay. That 50 lakhs INR would be the base component, or in a year, like including this some amount of stock, some amount of joining bonus.
So 50 lakh INRs, I would say, is without stocks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if we include the some part of like our yearly stock, so it can touch approximately 70-75 as a yearly compensation.
Absolutely. I mean, it depends on how much you get in terms of stocks. I don't really count stocks because they vest in a very weird way. So sometimes they're front loaded, sometimes they're back loaded, and so for your audience, so what that means is like if it's front loaded, a larger chunk of the stocks are vested in the first few years than they are in the latter part of the vesting period, and in the backloaded is the opposite. So maybe you won't even see 50% of those stocks until your third year if it's backloaded. So there are nuances to this, and so not what like the salary that you the total compensations that you see in the news, they are not representative of what you actually get in hand. And also I would like to add, like, if you're actually getting a job outside India, the cost of living is going to be considerably higher compared to India. So don't worry about money, because you get paid handsomely enough that you can live comfortably and still save a decent amount, and you still make more than you ever possibly would, let's say, for similar experience, similar role inside India. So I would say not focus on money too much, because just like try to find the best role for you, find the best fit, and then the rest will probably just fall into place.
Great. Yeah. Amazing. I think this is something like a very in-depth detail with respect to everything, how to start the career in ML engineering, how to find the job opportunities, and most important, interview experiences in companies like Tik-Tok. So this was really wonderful and really informative, Anurag. The information is very crisp and to the point for the audience, and thank you so much for this one, right? Spending your time in your evening after office hours, right? So this means a lot to the audience who is watching this podcast, and it would be really helpful. So from my side and from the entire audience side, a big thanks to you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. It's an honor to be here. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Cool.
Hope I could be of help to some of your viewers. Yeah.
Sure. So that is what I had for you guys in this podcast, and I'm pretty sure you would have enjoyed every single information shared by Anurag related to machine learning engineering. If yes, and you find it informative, make sure to give a like and share this video with your fellow friends. And if you're new to the channel, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the notification icon. And if you have any question, any query, or any suggestion, feel free to put it in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next week with another amazing podcast. Till then, just stay safe, stay home, take care of yourself and your family too.